Doctor's incredible discovery during twins' autopsy. Heartwarming laughter reveals a hidden truth. Dr. William Carter gripped the edge of the autopsy table, his heart heavy. The reality of two young lives lost, identical twins Jake and Sam, sat like a stone in his chest. He had been their doctor for years, and what he'd known of them was vibrant, alive, filled with dreams and laughter. Now their faces swam in his memory, bright smiles that echoed with hope, now extinguished in the blink of disaster. In the quiet of his office, buzzing fluorescent lights mingled with the stillness of grief that had enveloped Miller's Grove. The town had rallied in the face of loss, a community forged from shared joy and sorrow. But beneath the surface gloss of support lay a raw ache. As he prepared for the autopsies, he felt the weight of collective mourning press against him. The twins once envisioned a future where they would uplift their town, a place where families stood together, where help flowed freely from one to another. As he began his work, something caught his attention. An old, weathered family journal tucked away with their belongings. Dust motes danced in the room as he opened it, pages flipping through as if reaching out to him. Inside, the boys had captured every childish dream, hand-drawn diagrams of a community center, sketches of a scholarship fund for those in need, each page radiating hope like beacons in the dark. Amid the elegy of loss, William felt a flicker of determination grow within him. His mind raced with the weight of potential, and he couldn't shake the thought. What if their dream lives on? As he shared the bittersweet pages with grieving families, something remarkable happened. The air charged with emotion as memories of the twins were drawn from deep wells of collective memory. Yet, within that sharing unfolded painful echoes, intertwined tales of sacrifice, of foregoings, of moments seized and lost. Why should they have their names on something that could be mine? One anguished voice rasped in the back of the room, igniting a ripple of tension. The sentiment echoed, awakening grudges that had long lain dormant. William felt the air grow thick, a struggle materializing. Hearts raced, and murmurs began to weave around the room. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Then came a surge of inspiration. William, heart racing, announced his plan to honor Jake and Sam's legacy by launching the scholarship fund they envisioned. His voice carried the spirit of the boys who had sought to mold a brighter future for all. The crowd shifted, emotions coursing through them as the past mingled with hopes for tomorrow, the tension hanging nearly palpable. But just as his words faded into a gentle reverence, their weight shifted again. And what about us? What do we do? The voice cried. Eyes turned, questions baking under the tension. William's heart sank, knowing that the journey of healing would be fraught with unresolved pain. As silence enveloped the room, he glanced down. The journal, cradled in his hands, slid and opened to a bright drawing. There it was, a future crafted by those two boys, daring to dream of a place where everyone belonged. The hushed crowd leaned in, their collective breath caught, poised between hope and doubt. Would Miller's Grove rise to embrace this legacy, or would it remain bound by the chains of grudges that risked tearing them apart? The heavy silence in the room pressed down like an unwelcome fog, a palpable tension that hung in the air. William's heart raced as he felt the weight of their eyes on him, a mix of hope and skepticism brewing in the atmosphere. He had shared the twins' dreams, yet now he questioned if those dreams could ignite a community's spirit instead of dividing it further. Listen, he finally said, the words trembling yet firm. Jake and Sam wanted this place to come together. They believed in you, their families, their friends. They dreamed of lifting each other up. We owe it to them to try. The room held its breath. Families exchanged uncertain glances, caught between past grievances and present possibilities. I never thought it would come to this, a man at the back muttered, his voice shaky but earnest. It's like every event in this town just tore us apart instead of helping us heal. We've been divided, judging each other instead of loving one another. William nodded slowly, a knot tightening in his stomach. He felt that truth keenly, a reality he wished could be rewritten. But perhaps, just perhaps, these twins might become the catalyst for change. What if we stopped asking what the twins' legacy could give us, and started asking what we could give to help it flourish? He challenged. The question hung in the air like a distant thunderstorm, eliciting a mix of hope and apprehension. In that brief moment of uncertainty, a small voice piped up from the front. It was Anna, one of the twins' closest friends. Her face was streaked with tears, but her spirit shone through. They wanted us all to be together. Remember how they used to invite everyone to their little gatherings? They believed in community. A murmur of agreement rolled through the crowd. Faces that had been cloaked in shadows began to brighten with shared memories. Another voice joined in. Then another, as the walls of resentment started to crumble. William felt warmth spread through him as laughter bubbled from within. Let us paint a mural in the park, someone suggested, sparking a wave of ideas. A place to gather, a place to remember, a community center, just like they imagined. Emotions swirled like autumn leaves in a brisk wind: joy, grief, hope, desperation. William's heart soared as faces transformed from grief to determination. As plans were layered one on another, stitching together visions fueled by love, he knew they were standing on the brink of something profound. A step towards unity, a chance at healing what had long been fractured. Yet amidst the cheer, shadows lingered. Distrust still lurked behind familiar faces, and history had not yet been addressed. I want to help. Another voice cut through the vibrant conversation. It was Sam's father, his face a mixture of anguish and resolve. But we'll need to confront our past first. Only then can we truly honor their legacy. For a moment, the room quieted. It felt like the calm before a storm. A moment where their past was about to be unearthed. William's heart raced again. Would they be able to dive into the buried grudges and pain? Was they brave enough to face each other honestly? Just then, a young woman stepped forward, carrying a thick envelope. I found this among their things. She hesitated, glancing nervously from face to face. It might explain more about what they wanted, or who they hoped to bring together. The tension returned, thickening as if a heavy curtain were drawn across the room. The envelope opened a door to their past. Would it unleash further division, or guide them toward reconciliation? As people leaned closer, holding their breath, William felt the world tilt on its axis. What truth lay hidden inside? The woman held the envelope like it was a fragile bird, ready to take flight or crash to the ground. With a shaky hand, she pulled out a stack of papers, the corners bent from time, the edges crinkled. Silence wrapped around them all as they watched her unfold the first page, the anticipation almost too much to bear. Okay, here goes, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. This is a letter from Jake and Sam. A collective breath was held as she began to read aloud, her eyes scanning the familiar handwriting. Dear friends and family, she began, her voice wavering with each word. If you're reading this, it means we're not together anymore. And we want you to know above all else that we love you. Tears began to form in the corners of eyes throughout the room. Images of the twins laughing, running through the park, and bringing everyone together surfaced like a replay of cherished memories. The letter went on, speaking of their hopes for the future, hopes that seemed almost too pure for a world so heavily burdened by conflict. We dreamed of a place where everyone supports each other, where we can all celebrate our differences, not let them drive us apart. The young woman's voice steadied as she read on. We want you to remember us with laughter, not grief. Please find a way to come together. Do it for us. As she finished, a wave of emotion surged through the crowd. Faces shifted from solemnity to shared joy. Laughter rippled out unexpectedly, sparked by a remembrance of a light-hearted moment the twins had created. Jake used to say we should all act like kids again. Someone chuckled from the back. And here we are, all teary-eyed like fools. Laughter picked up steam, a much-needed antidote to their grief. William's heart soared as he watched the tension begin to dissolve, replaced with the kind of warmth that had once been the fabric of their community. Yet, even amidst the laughter, there remained an undertone of something unresolved. When the chuckles faded, Sam's father stepped forward again, determination etched on his face. We need to face what happened, what tore us apart. Their message is loud and clear, but we must also acknowledge the pain that lingers. Everyone fell silent once more. the weight of reality settling back over them like a blanket. Grudges were left unspoken, wounds unhealed, and the ghosts of their past were not ready to be dismissed. We can't just paint over what happened. Sam's father continued, looking around the room. We have to talk. To listen. Only then can we honor their dreams. There was an uneasy agreement, nods exchanged, but the lingering fear was palpable. Would they be able to confront their deepest issues, share their truths, relive their hurts? Or would fear of confrontation fracture their fragile unity before it had even begun to solidify? As the group deliberated, William felt a spark of hope, a chance to bridge the divide, still visible but not insurmountable. The light humor had broken some barriers, but how much deeper would they need to dig? When the next voice emerged from the corner, soft but steady, he felt the gravity of it. What if there's more to this letter? Something they didn't just leave for us to read? Everyone turned to the speaker, surprised by the intrigue in her tone. Was there truly more to discover? A deeper truth hidden within the fragile words? A question hung in the air, tantalizing and profound. What other revelations awaited them in the shared legacy of the twins? The room held a collective breath, uncertainty flooding the air. Eyes shifted nervously, some glancing at the crinkled letter in the woman's hands, as if it held the answers to questions yet unasked. William felt a ripple of unease crawl up his spine, the initial warmth of laughter dwindling away as the reality of their grief reasserted itself. What do you mean, more to this letter? Asked Jessica, her voice breaking the silence with a shaky urgency. The speaker, Clara, swallowed hard, as if she too felt the weight of the room pressing down on her. Think about it, Clara said, taking a step closer. Jake and Sam were always so full of surprises. They loved riddles and clues. Maybe they've left us something to discover, beyond just a farewell. A way to find peace. Hope flared in William's heart, igniting a sense of possibility. Could this letter be more than just words of goodbye? What if it was a roadmap toward healing? But how far could it lead them? Slowly, the group began to exchange glances, an unspoken agreement forming in their midst. Sam's father broke the tension first. You're right, Clara. We owe it to them to explore everything they might have left behind. With a determined nod, the woman cradling the letter repositioned it, preparing to read again. The soft sound of paper crackling broke the tension as she unfolded it gently, scanning through the words that had already brought so much emotion. Maybe there are hidden meanings or secrets, she murmured, her voice trailing. She flipped to the final pages, focusing now on the notes scrawled in the margins from Jake and Sam's youthful hands. From the kids' love for games, did they play us a final trick? As her eyes darted across the page, a collective silence fell once more as each person inched forward, urgency palpable. What could they discover? William felt a tightening in his chest. The letter had offered laughter in the face of sorrow, but what if there was something deeper? A link to the past that required them to confront their losses head-on. Look here, Clara pointed out. See this? This line is underlined. We found a way to be free. What if that refers to the park? Instantly, recognition sparked in the other's eyes. The park where the twins had first envisioned their dreams. It was a gathering spot for their joyful moments, a canvas for their escapades filled with laughter. It could also be where the secrets lay. A murmur cascaded through the group. Could they have hidden something there? The thought electrified the air, filling it with anticipation and a tinge of fear. William could feel his pulse quickening. They were standing on the edge of something transformative, a chance to reclaim their community, to stitch together broken bonds. Let us go there. Someone shouted, breaking the mounting tension. A wave of agreement surged as hearts beat in unison with the call for action. But before they could move, the woman raised a hand, her expression shifting from excited to serious. Just remember, whatever we find, we must be ready. The gravity in her tone echoed in the room. Could they truly handle what might lie ahead? What if their shared past bore more pain than they could face? As they gathered their determination, making their way toward the park, William felt a knot of anticipation in his stomach. They were stepping into unknown territory, united by the memory of the twins, and perhaps a shared pain that still lingered in the shadows. What awaited them at the park might hold the key to healing, or it might unearth a truth that would shake their foundations even further. Would they be ready to face what lay ahead? Or would the ghosts of the past resurface, threatening their fragile reunion? The park stood just as they remembered: lush grass, towering trees arching overhead, and the familiar scent of summer. It felt like a time capsule that had preserved their laughter, bounding energy, and those endless afternoons spent with the twins. But today, the weight of grief draped over the place like a somber veil. As the group ventured forward, William could sense the electricity in the air. Each step felt significant, weighted by the possibility of discovery. Clara led the way, her determination unfaltering, while the others fell into a tight knot around her, hearts beating to a shared rhythm of hope and fear. "Where do we even start?" Jessica asked, her voice soft yet edged with urgency. The question hung between them, delicate and heavy. "Jake and Sam loved that old oak tree," William suggested, gesturing toward the massive trunk that had shaded so many of their adventures. "They would always hide their little treasures there." With a few nods, the group moved toward the tree, the ground crunching beneath their feet like crackling autumn leaves. Even in the heart of summer. When they reached it, William leaned against the rough bark, his fingers brushing against the smooth grooves, memories flooding back. Clara was already on her knees, inspecting the roots. It could be here, or maybe beneath it. The others fanned out, eyes peeled for anything unusual. Moments turned into an eternity as hope wrestled with despair. William crouched down to help Clara, his heart pounding. He didn't want to believe they would leave this place empty-handed. Not again. As they dug into the soft earth, Clara suddenly gasped. "Wait. I think I found something." She pulled out a small, rusted metal box. It was unmarked and dusty, but held a sense of weight that seemed almost reverent. Everyone leaned in closer, breathless anticipation weaving through their group. Clara hastily wiped the dirt away, revealing a delicate latch that had seen better days. "Should we open it?" Clara's voice barely rose above a whisper, but it felt like a trumpet in the silence around them. William nodded, heart racing. This could be it, the secret they were meant to uncover. With trembling hands, Clara clicked the latch, and the box creaked open. Inside, they found a collection of items. An old photograph of the twins in their favorite costumes, a small wooden puzzle with a missing piece, and a stack of handwritten notes. The notes were filled with doodles, dreams, and scribbles, all remnants of their imaginative minds. Jessica leaned closer, reading one of the notes aloud. "We're not really gone. Just hiding in the laughter." Her voice quivered as she spoke the words, resonating with a mix of melancholy and joy. A wave of warmth washed over William. It was as if the twins were right there with him, guiding them through this moment. The memory of their laughter felt tangible, a bittersweet reminder of what once was, and what could still be. But just as the joy found footing, a chill crept back into the air. "What does it all mean?" he murmured, glancing from the notes to the group. They were hit with the weight of a new realization. This discovery was just the beginning. Without warning, Clara's eyes widened as she turned another note to the back. There's something else," she stammered, her fingers trembling. "Look." As William leaned closer, the words jumped out, bold and unexpected. "Find us where the laughter stops, and the memories pop." A collective gasp rippled through the group. Where laughter stops. The deeper they delved, the more questions emerged. What were the twins urging them to confront? The sunlight began to dip toward the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple. It felt like a cycle closing. Yet the night was just beginning to unfold its mysteries. William straightened up, glancing at the others. They were still caught in the web of excitement mixed with trepidation. What awaited them next? Would they uncover more hidden truths? With each word they deciphered, they were unearthing layers not just of the twin spirits but also of their own shared heartache. And just then, as he turned to face the park again, a shadow flickered at the edge of his vision. A figure darting between the trees, almost playful like a ghost. Could it be a sign? Or were their minds just playing tricks on them? Blinded by emotions overwhelming the evening? He felt a tug in his gut, and turned to the group. What if it's not just about the past? What if the twins are asking us to create something new? A mix of shock and hope passed among them. The night was still young, and with it, new possibilities lay ahead. The park they thought they knew might still hold surprises. But what if they weren't ready to confront the weight of those memories? What if those shadows held secrets they'd rather leave buried? Clara's voice broke the silence, echoing against the thick evening air. What do you mean, create something new? Her eyes shone with curiosity, as if each word ushered in a possible future. William could feel the warmth spreading through the group again, like sunlight breaking into a shadowed room. Maybe they want us to remember the joy they brought, and somehow carry it forward. William rubbed his hands together, a habit he always had when trying to comfort himself. Those notes, the photograph, everything we found, it's about keeping them alive. Jessica stepped closer, her fingers brushing over the edge of the rusted box again. But how? How do we do that? William pondered her question, the weight of it pressing against his chest. What if we create a memory of our own? Something that honors who they were? The idea hung in the air, shimmering with potential. The group shared a glance, and he could see the wheels turning in their minds. Clara's gaze lit up. Like what? A new treehouse to replace the old? A gathering where we share stories and laugh just like we used to? Yes. William exclaimed, heart racing. Or maybe a tradition that brings everyone together, something that could turn this place into our own version of the laughter we feel when we think of them. Jessica grinned, and the trepidation that hung around her like a cloak seemed to lift. We could even document it, write our memories down like they did, add our own doodles and dreams. The thought sparked something in the others. A unity began to swell between them, weaving a bond that seemed to bridge the gap between their past and present. Suddenly, laughter bubbled up, almost involuntary as they began to brainstorm. Ideas spilled like confetti, bursting in delight, creating a community art project, hosting a potluck picnic, launching a treasure hunt in the park for kids, reviving the spirit of the twins in every shared moment. But then the laughter faded as Clara's face turned serious again. And what if it doesn't work? She whispered, almost as if afraid to voice the doubt. What if we fail to capture their spirit? William felt the flicker of fear, too. He knew they were standing on uncertain ground, holding on to a fragile thread of hope. What if we don't? But isn't it worth the chance? They taught us joy. That's our legacy. Each person nodded, a look of determination on their faces. The shadows seemed to pulse with life around them, as if the very air hummed with their resolve. Just as they began to gather their thoughts, a gust of wind whirled around them, stirring the leaves of the oak tree, urging them forward. Clara squinted into the dusk. Did you see that? She asked, pointing toward the path that wound through the park. William followed her finger, his heart pounding. A fleeting figure danced in the underbrush, giggling softly as it moved. He couldn't shake the feeling that it was more than just a trick of the night. Maybe they're still here, showing us the way, he said, voice tinged with disbelief and awe. Jessica leaned in. What if we follow it? Find out where the laughter leads? The group exchanged glances, their earlier fears overshadowed by a blend of courage and curiosity. Could this be the sign they were looking for? Let us go, William said, taking the lead. He stepped onto the path, trusting that whatever lay ahead would guide them in ways they couldn't yet comprehend. As they ventured deeper into the park, the clamor of their footsteps intermingled with the sound of rustling trees, each sound echoing hope and uncertainty. A thrill surged through him, igniting the dimming evening with fresh momentum. And then, just as they rounded a bend, the shadows peeled back, revealing the edge of the old carousel that had once been the centerpiece of their summers. It stood silent now, but its colors flashed in the streetlight, beckoning them closer. Do you think it could hold another memory? Clara murmured, eyes wide. But before William could respond, a burst of laughter echoed through the air, bright and clear like a familiar song. It caught them off guard, reverberating through the trees. His heart raced. What if that's the laughter? What if that's our next step? The night surged with promise, yet a veil of uncertainty shrouded their thoughts. They had come to find the twins' legacy, but could they truly step into that laughter? Every pulse of sound around them drew them deeper into the mystery. And as the laughter faded, another thought followed. What if they were not just chasing echoes, but creating new beginnings? With a newfound purpose, they moved toward the carousel, uncertainty splitting open into opportunity. But questions remained. How far would they go to build something from the last whispers of joy? And were they ready for the truth hidden in the laughter? The carousel loomed before them, a relic of laughter and light. Its chipped paint was faded, telling stories of summers long gone. Yet somehow, it still radiated warmth. The laughter that had echoed moments earlier hung in the air like a soft melody, urging them on. William's heart raced as memories swirled. He remembered the twins alive with joy, their laughter echoing against this very carousel. Maybe we can breathe new life into it, Jessica suggested, stepping forward. Her eyes sparkled with an idea. What if we could fix it up? Give it a new coat of paint? Turn it into a community project? Yes, Clara exclaimed, animation returning to her features. We could bring back the joy this place once held. Just imagine finding a way to celebrate their spirit every year. William nodded vigorously, feeling the momentum stir within them. It can be a gathering place, a heartbeat for all of us. A place where we can share our stories, like we used to. Excitement rippled through the group, igniting their imaginations. Each one of them began to raise ideas, merging plans like the colors on the carousel, blending into something bright and hopeful. Maybe we can have music here. And food. We could set up picnic tables and invite everyone, Jessica chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious. Clara nodded, already envisioning decorations. We could add lights. Twinkling ones that shine like stars, just to remind us of the magic of our childhood. Just then, another gust of wind swept through, rustling the branches above them, and carrying a whisper they could almost decipher. What if we host a day where we tell stories like those in the notes? William pondered aloud, feeling all the colors of their childhood whirling around them. An event where everyone can share their own laughter, memories, and dreams. We can all keep it alive. With each word, their dreams became more substantial, like building blocks forming a towering edifice of hope and remembrance. Doubts began to slip away as they visually constructed the ideals that would give life to their plans. They were wrapped in a pulse of warmth, emerging from the darkness and breathing hope back into the old dreams. But as the laughter continued to echo, William felt a sudden pang in his chest. A thought crept in like a shadow. What if it's not just about us? What if we find something here? Something from their past? He asked, glancing back toward the faded carousel. What if they left us a sign? His gaze shifted to the ground just in front of the carousel. A glint caught his eye, a small metallic object partially buried in the dirt. Curiosity ignited, he crouched down to inspect it. His heart raced. It was another locket, shimmering in the faint light as though it held secrets of its own. Guys, look at this, he called, excitement rippling through the group as they gathered closer, peering down. Maybe this is what we need, a piece of them that could lead us towards something deeper. Clara knelt beside him, her breath catching. What if it contains a photo? Or a message? Fingers trembling with anticipation, William pulled the locket into the light. He clicked it open, revealing a small, faded picture, two identical smiling faces, the twins, just as he remembered. Around them were handwritten words. Forever in laughter, even when apart. The weight of that message hung in the air, wrapping around them with an aura of sincerity. Laughter. Joy. Togetherness. Could this truly be their direction? Could it guide them to continue the celebration of life, not just the memory of those they lost? As the carousel creaked softly in the breeze, an undeniable energy surged. This was more than just nostalgia, it felt like a calling. And amidst the echoes of past laughter, a new thread of possibility began to weave itself into their lives. But William couldn't shake the thought, what if there was even more hidden here? What if this was just the beginning of uncovering a truth long buried? As they gathered closer to the carousel, anticipation mingled with questions. What deeper revelations awaited them? With hearts racing, they began to dig deeper still, eager to unearth not only the past but the powerful legacy that lay within their shared laughter. The locket swung gently in William's hand, catching glimmers of sunlight. He could feel the warmth resonate, as if the twins themselves were urging him forward. There was no turning back now. Curiosity ran through him like a current, pulling him deeper into the mystery. I think we should keep looking, William said, his voice barely above a whisper, charged with urgency. The others nodded, their eyes bright with determination. They all felt it, the magnetic pull of discovery, the promise of a connection that had been severed too soon. Jessica knelt beside him, brushing away dirt from the base of the carousel. "Look over here," she exclaimed, directing their attention to another small glint among the carousel's chipped paint. Clara joined the search, pulling at the wood with her hands. "If we can find another, maybe we can unlock more pieces of their story," she mused, her enthusiasm infectious. As they explored, the thrill of the unknown enveloped them. The carousel creaking and whispering dark secrets of laughter. Each piece they unearthed seemed to weave their hearts closer together, binding them with memories that danced just out of reach. Hours passed, but time felt different here. Lost in their own world, they were both children and adults, wrapped in layers of emotion. William almost felt the twins watching, encouraging them, sharing in their quest. At last, Clara's fingers brushed against something distinct. "William, over here," she shouted, excitement bubbling in her voice. The others hurried over, forming a small circle around her as she uncovered a larger box, ornately designed and nearly buried in the dirt. Jessica gasped. "What if it's filled with more than we could ever imagine?" With bated breath, they took turns prying the box from the ground, wincing at the clinking of metal. Finally, they set it down with a satisfying thud. Clara fumbled with the clasp, hands trembling. "Here goes nothing," she said, finally releasing it. The lid opened slowly, revealing a trove of aged papers, colorful scraps of fabric, and small trinkets, each one whispering a story from the past. "What are these?" William picked up a worn-out diary. "Maybe it was theirs," Jessica replied, her green eyes wide with wonder. She gently took it from him and began flipping through the pages, a smile brightening her face. The pages revealed a world of thoughts, doodles, and dreams, detailing their adventures throughout childhood. Each page burst with the flavor of youthful spirit, filled with their fears, hopes, and endless laughter. "Look at this." Clara pointed out an illustration of the carousel, only it was much brighter than it was now. They painted it with all sorts of colors. Look at how they spent so much time imagining what it could be. William could feel a lump form in his throat, the weight of both grief and happiness surfacing at once. "It's like they left us a roadmap," he said softly. Their idea of revitalizing the carousel was not just a whim. It was a continuation of what the twins started. But beneath the joy lay an unshakable question. Why did they keep it hidden? William wondered aloud, glancing at the group. What were they afraid of? As he said it, the air shifted, and a distant echo rippled through the trees. Could it be a message from the twins? Something they had wanted to convey, but didn't he know how? Doubt streaked through the euphoria. Could their intention of bringing joy back to the carousel lead them to uncover deeper secrets? They needed to find out. Clutching the diary tightly, they stood there, hearts racing with both excitement and trepidation. Each word written by the twins might be a clue leading them forward. What if there's more? Jessica looked at them, her brow furrowing. More than we expected? What if this is just the beginning? The sun began to dip low in the sky, casting long shadows, and a sense of urgency surged within them. What had they stumbled upon? What had the twins left behind that might change everything? As the shadows deepened, they exchanged determined glances, ready to dive deeper into the mystery. But the question loomed large. Were they prepared for the truths they might uncover? The moment hung in the air, a blend of tangible excitement and heavy anticipation. William looked around the group, noting the flicker of determination in their eyes. They were on the brink of something monumental, yet shadows loomed just beyond their reach. Jessica closed the diary, the pages still whispering secrets as she handed it back to Clara. "We should regroup and really think about what we've found," she suggested. Her voice shook slightly, but there was strength in it, too. "This could change everything for us for the carousel." Clara nodded, a frown forming as she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. "Agreed. But we can't ignore the possibility that the twins might have hidden something more, something significant. What could they have been afraid of?" The sun was nearly gone, but the spark of adventure remained alive within them. William could almost hear the laughter of the twins ringing in the cool evening air, as if they were guiding their every step. He felt a pulse of determination course through him that seemed almost otherworldly. "Let us start right now," William declared, the weight of their discovery pressing against his chest. "Let us look for anything else we might have missed. We can't just leave it at that." Moving with newfound urgency, they forged ahead, searching every inch of the carousel. Each creak of the wood beneath their feet felt louder in the gathering dusk. As they brushed away dirt and debris, their hearts raced, driven by the possibility that the twins had left more than just memories. Suddenly, Clara gasped, finding something tucked away in a hidden section of the carousel's base. "Look, there's something here." She pulled out a small, ornate key that sparkled in the last rays of sunlight. "What do you think this unlocks?" A thrill coursed through William. The key felt cool and comforting against his palm, as if it had a pulse of its own. Maybe it unlocks another box or a hidden compartment. He mused aloud, his mind racing with possibilities. Could it be their secrets? The group gathered closer, studying the key as though it held the answers to everything. William's heart pounded in anticipation. He thought of the diary and all the adventures within. What if this key revealed their deeper feelings? Their struggles? Jessica's eyes darted around the carousel. There's got to be a place it fits. Somewhere here, something is locked away. They started searching, moving together as they traced their fingers around the wooden carvings. Every childlike whimsy now a potential hiding place for something profound. Each turn of their hands teemed with focus, a tapestry of hope and intensity knitting them together. Time slipped away like grains of sand. William felt himself lost in thought, wondering what could have caused the twins to bury not just belongings but parts of their very essence. Were they ashamed of their dreams? Fearful that they couldn't live up to the expectations they set for themselves? Finally, Clara's voice broke the tense silence. "They're behind that panel." They rushed over, clambering on top of each other. Their breaths mingled in excitement and anxiety. The panel creaked as they pried it open, revealing a tiny niche. Inside lay dust-covered envelopes and a smaller wooden box, intricately carved, waiting to give up its secrets. "Should we open it?" Jessica's voice trembled, eyes wide with anticipation. With a nod, William answered, "We have to." He reached forward, his heart racing as he carefully lifted the box. But as he held it, a sudden chill brushed past him, sending a shiver down his spine. What lay inside could reshape everything they thought they knew about the twins, about themselves. As the air thickened with unspoken questions, William whispered, "What if they've been trying to tell us something all along?" Their collective breath hitched in uncertainty, and as the box creaked open, they stood at the edge of revelation, hearts racing. What if this was it? What if the truth they sought was finally within reach? Inside the ornate box, a treasure trove of memories revealed themselves. William gently lifted the contents, carefully laying them out on the carousel's faded surface. Each object seemed to breathe life into the stillness of the evening air. There were photographs, worn and yellowing, showing the twins at various ages, Jake and Sam laughing, arms flung wide, grinning at a world that sparkled with promise. Heart racing, he recognized that familiar glint in their eyes, the same one he saw in the mirror each day. Their joyful energy had never truly faded. Rather, they had channeled it into a legacy waiting to be rediscovered. Next to the photos were folded pieces of paper, their neatly scrawled handwriting bursting with exuberance. William picked one up. He could feel their enthusiasm spilling out with each doodled heart, every drawn sun. The words leapt off the page. "To whoever finds this, remember it's not about where you go, but where you grow together." Tears brimmed in their eyes. With each note read aloud, the gravity of the twins' love enveloped them, wrapping them like a warm blanket. They had always embraced community, cherishing moments shared, laughter exchanged, and hearts connected. In their youthful innocence, they somehow understood that the bonds of love could outlast the confines of life. "I can't believe they wrote this," Clara murmured, her voice thick with emotion. "It's like they knew we needed this." William looked into the faces of his friends, their expressions brightening with understanding and realization. This is our chance to honor them, to bring their vision to life. Spurred by the words of the twins, the rest of the group leaned in, reading their hopes, dreams, and aspirations. One letter detailed an idea for an annual community day, an event filled with games, stories, and shared meals, just like they used to have. Their voices began to interweave, each person imagining how they could help bring this vision into reality. Joy surged like warmth through their collective heart, eclipsing past grievances. Here was their opportunity for healing, a way to mend the frayed threads of their community, and weave them back together. The carousel can be the centerpiece, Jessica exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with determination. A symbol of unity, representing laughter and connection. Let us make it happen, starting this summer, William said, feeling a new resolve course through him. Let us organize events, invite everyone, including those we had our differences with. Nods of agreement rippled through the group. The air buzzed with hope, excitement flowing like a current. They opened the box wider, revealing more letters, considering each of them, their laughter echoing in the night like an anthem. What if we formed a community group? Clara suggested, her voice strong. We can make sure the twins' dreams live on. The idea spread like wildfire, igniting a spark that fused them together. They began brainstorming and planning as the sun dipped below the horizon, letting twilight swallow them in the glow of their budding aspirations. With every shared idea, love swept through their hearts. They were no longer just individuals bound by grief. They were stewards of a mission, a resurgence of community. As they shared their plans, the shadows that loomed behind them began to dissipate, revealing glowing embers of hope tethered deep within their pasts. They would confront whatever had held them apart. They were ready to embrace the full breadth of their connection. Hours passed, yet time hardly mattered. Laughter intertwined with tears, hopes emerged from uncertainty, and they imagined a future forged by unity. They were not just reclaiming a carousel. They were rebuilding the fabric of a community, creating a space where all could come together, leaving no room for resentment to thrive. When they finally stepped back outside, the stars twinkled overhead like blessings, illuminating their path. William felt that familiar warmth spread in his chest, reminding him of the twins' laughter, a reminder that love, when shared openly, could bridge the deepest divides. The journey had begun, but they would not step into this new chapter alone. They would support each other through every twist and turn ahead, and when it felt heavy, the memory of laughter, the twins' laughter, would guide them forward. And as they finally left the carousel behind, William glanced back one last time, gratitude swelling in his heart. This was more than a place. It was the foundation of a new beginning, a testament to dreams reborn. It was their legacy, waiting to take flight. Their laughter would echo again, loud and clear, as they worked to fulfill the dreams that had once been cradled in the tender hands of two boys who only wanted to share joy. This was the legacy of Jake and Sam, their gift to a community ready to love again. Now it was time for action. You need to subscribe now to witness how love conquers all in future stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now and help spread this message far and wide. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings. Let us know how you felt about this beautiful journey. And don't wait not even one more second, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformative story. By doing so, you join the movement of hope and love that binds communities together.